This episode of That's What G Said podcast is brought to you by CindyCarava.com and Sarah Candle Company. When you visit sarahcandles.com and you use the promo code GINO, you'll get 10% off your purchase. It is coming up on Christmas time. You're not going to want to go out and brave the malls and all the traffic and all the busy shops. You can just sit right at home right now. Order sarahcandles.com. Use that promo code. Here's why Sarah Candles are the best. All natural soy wax, free from the toxins found in the paraffin wax, which is used by the other leading brands. And that all natural soy wax will actually hold your scent better and burn up to 50% longer than the traditional paraffin wax candles. 100% lead-free cotton wicks, completely natural scents, made micro batches, hand poured to ensure the highest quality. 100% locally sourced and handcrafted in the USA. Tons of different scents, so you can pick for all your different friends and family members. And then make sure to take a look at the instructions and the details on how to keep your candle clean and ensure the perfect burn. Remember, we're dealing with flames here. You want to be safe, and you want to make sure to get the best burn possible. This is created by people who love candles. They started out experimenting, trying to create the perfect candle, and now they've blossomed into Sarah Candle Company. Perfect gift for anyone out there. Promo code GINO, get you 10% off your purchase, but you better order now because you want to get them before Christmas time. On this episode of That's What G Said, we're going to talk about the best Christmas movies bracket. We have the Field of 32 set. The voting has begun. We are trying to decide the best Christmas movie. We'll talk about a couple other shows we've been watching recently. Home for Christmas, Moody's Family Christmas. We'll go through the last couple episodes of The Mandalorian. We'll preview the 3 NFL games for Saturday. Go through a couple of the NCAA football bowl games. We like a couple coming up in the next week or so. And then we'll close things out with some horse racing, some plays for Friday from a couple different racetracks. Kick back and enjoy. That's what...
So you want your daily dose of sports and pop culture? Well, I know a guy named G who gives it to you good. That's what G said. From Game of Thrones and Stranger Things to DDTs and chicken wings and banking on a long shot to close. Will the Lakers bounce back? Did USC upset them? Will the Dodgers stop on all who oppose? It's gotta be our year. It's gotta be our year. It's gotta be our fucking year. That's what G said.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thanks again for joining us on another episode of That's What G Said podcast. We will have holiday in the podcast today because we're going to start out right away going through the best Christmas movies bracket. We have the Field of 32 set, so if you're not following me on Twitter, the handle is It's Me Gino B. Head on over there, follow me on Twitter, and you can see all the polls. So the polls are out for the first 16 matchups in the Field of 32, and here are the movies that we have set in the bracket. A Christmas Story, which, to me, the ones that I spread out a little bit that I assumed would be the favorites based on the posts from everybody on social media and my research. We had kind of split up A Christmas Story, A Christmas Carol, Elf, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Scrooge, Bad Santa, Home Alone, The Grinch, Rudolph, Frosty the Snowman. This kind of It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street. Those are kind of the heavy hitters and the favorites in heading in. But it's all going to come down to you because all I do is set the bracket. I don't even get to vote because I post the polls on Twitter, so I can't even vote in my own poll. So it's all based on you. So let's go through the matchups real quick. It's A Christmas Story versus Jack Frost. The Santa Claus versus It Happened on Fifth Avenue. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer versus Die Hard. Yes, I did put Die Hard in the Christmas movie bracket, which is just a debate that has been going on for years and years. Home Alone and The Family Man. I thought The Family Man's always an underrated one. It's not going to beat Home Alone. Does a great job in that movie. Elf, Office Christmas Party, Gremlins, Charlie Brown Christmas, Miracle on 34th Street, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Scrooge versus Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Other side of the bracket is A Christmas Carol, the original, versus Christmas with the Cranks, White Christmas versus The Holiday, Frosty the Snowman versus Jingle All the Way, The Grinch versus Four Christmases. And then we have National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation versus The Night Before, Love Actually versus The Christmas That Almost Wasn't, It's a Wonderful Life versus A Muppet Christmas Carol Express. That is your field. If you like these movies, I'm sure you've seen a lot of them. You've probably seen most of them. Do me a favor. Anytime I have a poll up, if we get a bigger sample size, it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel loved, and it helps the sample size a little bit. So if you ever see any of these polls up, head on over, leave a comment, vote, share them with your friends that you think might be interested. After the Christmas movies, I think we're going to go into football at the end of the NFL season, NFL playoffs, so we'll figure out the best football movies, and we can get I think we can definitely get into a field of 64 with the football movies, because there are just a lot of football movies in general. I thought football and baseball were probably going to be two of the tougher sports movie brackets. Okay, so as far as this year, what I've been watching during the holiday season, there are a couple I want to mention that I thought are both worth watching and worth spending your time on. The first one is Home for Christmas. It's on Netflix. It's a little bit different. It's not, just your warm, fuzzy rom-com. It's not just your warm, fuzzy, really Lifetime Hallmark movie. This one's more of a rom-com that's kind of dark. It was a Norwegian movie that was dubbed over. It's called Home for Christmas. 30-year-old Joanne, she's with her family a couple weeks before Christmas, month before Christmas. I think it's on Thanksgiving, and she's alone. She seems to be okay with it, but her family kind of keeps bothering her about being alone, so she makes up having a boyfriend. And everything about this is, it's kind of like a lot of these Christmas movies and shows. This is a show, and it kind of has they all have similar tropes, subjects that they're built off, and they just kind of they're repeated in different ways. But this one has a really different take to it. It's funny. It's pretty smart, and after announcing that she has a boyfriend, she has a month really to try to find a boyfriend so she can bring to Christmas dinner, so her family will stop kind of treating her like she doesn't have things going on well in her life. And it's the interactions she has that month while she's looking to find Mr. Right, or just someone to pretend to be her boyfriend. Really, she tries speed dating. She finds, of course, as you would at speed dating, some really interesting characters. Then she goes out with a guy who's got just a terrible temper. She starts dating a really young guy who she just loves and gets intimate with, and they have these crazy all-night physical relationship, just a physical relationship. She stays up all night and just parties with him. They actually talk about Love Actually a bunch throughout the movie, and they kind of mock it. I enjoyed it. I rattled right through it. It's a really fun watch. It's on Netflix. It's just not, there's every Christmas show movie, it has the feel good moment at the end, but it's not as predictable, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's just different. To me, as far as the Christmas movies and shows and stuff I've watched so far this year, this is the best new one that I've seen. So give it a look. Home for Christmas on Netflix. The other one that I just finished watching was the Moody's Family Christmas. This was on Fox. I thought this was a good one too. It's really funny. It's with Dennis Leary. Kind of obvious. It's a comedy on Fox, so it's a little bit dark, a little self-deprecating, but it's really basic. It's very, family. Dad wants everyone to be real into the holidays and real festive for the mom. There's some, it's not PG. It's more PG-13, even to kind of pushing the envelope, but just their interactions. I thought this was pretty good too. Different than the one we just spoke about, but if you have the Fox app, you can go back and watch this one. Father wants one of the sons to help him take over the business. He's having to deal with the father has cancer that is not too serious, but of course the mom's worried about that, and they got a house being remodeled at the time, and the one son who lives at home has just all the failed businesses over and over. The son who comes back home has issues with the girlfriend. The only thing that's weird is like one of the main characters is super unlikable, ends up just somebody that's kind of hard to root for throughout. But another one that I think I'd give a look to. We watched it. It's about 2 hours. I think there's like 6 short parts that are on the Fox app if you want to give that a look. Now we'll go to The Mandalorian. And The Mandalorian, they just released episode 7. Going to go through episodes 5 and 6, and then next week after episode 8 comes out, we'll talk about episodes 7 and 8. Go look at episode 7 if you want. They released it a few days early because the new Star Wars movie's coming out, so they let The Mandalorian go. Instead of releasing it on Friday, they released it on Wednesday this week. But we go back to episode 5 of The Mandalorian, and what we're starting to see now through these first 4 and now 5 episodes is that it was kind of like every episode is like a different job for him, a different challenge where he gets into some trouble, gets out of some trouble, and then kind of moves on to the next one. We haven't really seen a lot of repeat through the first 4 episodes, but we will now as you move on. We haven't seen a whole lot of repeat characters or repeat storylines. It's just kind of he's moving on each place, new job, and what happens in that episode at the new planet that he's on or he's trying to take. But I like the slow pace of this show because we don't know a lot about him, and we just learn little by little more about the Mandalorian. We don't know anything really about little baby Yoda, and we're just figuring out that the Mandalorian obviously cares about little baby Yoda, right? But he's not very good when it comes to being completely in charge of him. He leaves him in some weird situations sometimes. He kind of leaves him alone quite a bit. And so we're learning, I guess, more and more about the Mandalorian each and every episode, about the backstory. They're never really just kind of like slapping you in the face with anything. It's just really subtle, and it's little by little. And I like it quite a bit. The 5th episode is an episode where he's trying to help a young up-and-coming bounty hunter who is trying to take a big job to make a name for himself. And in doing that, he gets the Mando trying to make money. That's the problem. He needs money now. So every episode he's trying to get more and more money. He needs money to keep his ship going, to keep traveling, to keep on the move, because they're coming after him. So he gets turned on, and there's a really funny character in this episode, played by Amy Sedaris, who is Strangers with Candy, and she ends up kind of helping out, taking care of little baby Yoda, and she's a character who hopefully we'll see again as we do start to see some characters now pop up into episode 7 and 8. And then episode 6 was really cool. We saw Bill Burr in here, and this one we started to see a little bit more about Mando's past. We ran into people that he knew from the past. We ran into someone he used to work with. We ran into someone who seemed like some sort of an ex-relationship or an ex-flame, and this group all had to try to go bring back a prisoner, and they went to go do a job together, and the job ends up going wrong. They all kind of try to turn on Mando. He has to, and then he kind of plucks them off one at a time, but he doesn't kill all of them, and that's kind of what we're seeing at the ends of each of these episodes, right? Like he gets the better of the situations, but he does have a moral code. It doesn't seem like he's high on killing people he doesn't have to. In fact, he gets upset that in this station there's an actual person running the station because they're thinking that there's only droids there. He thinks he's just going to come in and take down some droids. You know, he has a major disdain for droids. Every time, almost every episode now, we're getting these moments where LBY is in some big trouble, little baby Yoda, and been dropped now. He's fallen a few times. He's been, nearly shot, and he's just getting into more and more mischief too, as he is still a young little 50-year-old who loves to play around with the controls on the ship and not listen when the Mando tells him to. Fun episode and a really like Star Wars feel, because a lot of this episode was on a ship battling. You just got this show has done a great job with the real Star Wars look, and we're getting different species, new and old ones. We're getting different droids. We're just getting a huge idea of how big this world is, this galaxy is. And now I've watched the 7th episode, and we'll talk about it next week with episode 7 and 8. But now we're going to see it all start to come together, and we see kind of everything he's done in these first 6 episodes will all start to mount in episode 7, and then I have not seen episode 8. That'll come out next week, and we'll talk about it after it does. But go watch episode 7 on Disney Plus. The Mandalorian, if you're not watching it, excellent. Before we get into the NFL for Saturday, 3 NFL games on the slate. I want to let you know about one of the sponsors of That's What G Said podcast, Cindy Carava. If you visit cindycarava.com, you can get all of the information. She is a full-service realtor. Moving is not fun. It's a difficult process. You have to deal with so many different things that you forget about, you're not thinking about. You want somebody that you can trust that's going to take care of all of that for you, and that is Cindy Carava. I've known her personally for a decade. She is one of the most genuine and honest people you will ever meet, and she can help you with purchasing, with selling, with leasing. If you're just looking for home improvement, she can help connect you with handymen, painters, and landscapers, gardeners that she's used in her own homes, in the homes of her clients. If you need help getting pre-approved with a loan, she can connect you with some of the lenders that she's worked with. She covers all parts of the San Gabriel Valley, parts of North San Diego County, Del Mar, Solana Beach, Rancho Santa Fe. She can help you with a free market analysis if you're just curious to find your home's value. You can look her up online. She's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you can find the reviews about her on Yelp and Zillow. And they're going to say the same thing that I'm saying. She will take great care of you. That's Cindy Carava, Carava. You can send her an email if you ever have any questions, cindyc.realtor@gmail.com, and let her know that Gino said hello. cindycarava.com for all of your real. 3 games for the NFL on Saturday, and in our next show we'll go through the Sunday slate. And it's a really good 3 games on Saturday. They're important games because first up, you're going to have Houston at Tampa. Houston is now a minus 3 at Tampa. This game has moved from Houston -1. Tampa has some injuries. They're banged up. Who is Jameis going to throw the ball to without Godwin, without Evans now? Might be difficult for them to score with their normal ease. And, Jameis doesn't have an issue throwing an interception or 2. I don't love this spot. I don't love the fact that we've given away a few points in here, but I do think Houston wins this game, and I do think they'll win this game because this is a huge game for them. This is the opportunity to close things out and to secure a spot in the playoffs. And they're playing a team like Tampa who's won 4 in a row, but with the ability to clinch the AFC South. Let's go to the Texans with some of their numbers. They are 7-1 straight up in their last 8 as a road favorite. They are 5-2-1 against the spread in their last 7 as a road favorite. Although they are not great as a favorite and they're not great following against the spread wins. I feel like this is the situation though where I'd like to play them and I don't like to play Tampa as much when they're at home. Although they are a home dog in here in a spoiler type role. But their last 4, they've done well against the spread, but they're 1-5 against the spread. Their last 6 as a dog, and they're 0-4 against the teams against the spread against teams with winning record this year. They are 0-5-1 against their spread, and their last 6 at home is Tampa. So I think Houston wins this game. I think Houston will win this maybe by 10, and let's go Houston, and we'll make Houston one of our plays in these 2 games on Saturday. Don't love it. Again, I don't like the fact that I would not take anything over the 3. So you don't want Houston -3.5 if this line floats up. It's already floated up a little bit, but I do think they win this game, and I would think that at the very least, if it's 3, you're going to push here. So I don't want to give away much more than that. Patriots -6.5 against the Buffalo Bills. And let's go to the Bills in here. The Bills have won 4 of their last 5. Their loss was to the Ravens. They have wins at Pittsburgh and at Dallas. Both of these teams have clinched playoff spots. I didn't love the Pats' win against the Bengals. The Bills are 7-0-1 against the spread in their last 8 road games. They're 5-1-1 against the spread in their last 7 overall. And the Patriots are 1-5 against the spread versus teams with a winning record. When these two teams played earlier in the year, it was a really close game. Josh Allen was miserable. If he was just really, really bad, like a notch up from miserable, they win that game. He ends up getting hurt late, and then Matt Barkley comes into the game. And so, that vaunted Patriots defense, they weren't causing havoc in that game on every play. There were just a few of those Josh Allen plays. And since then, he's really slowed down the turnovers, slowed down the interceptions. And last week, he was able to make the plays that when needed. And I think that's just the type of game you're going to get from them. I think they'll be a little conservative. They'll try to run the ball, the Bills, and let's go with the Bills plus the 6.5 in here. If this got up to 7, that'd be great. But I wouldn't go under 6. I want the 6 at least. So take the Bills plus the 6.5. The game I'm going to stay away from is the 49ers versus the Rams. It's 49ers minus 6.5 against the Rams. These teams are both coming off of losses, and that's what scares me against playing against the 49ers. I had a feeling one of the last couple of games they would come out flat, and I thought it might be against the Rams, but now since they lost last week, I just don't think they're going to come out flat. And it's not a good matchup for the Rams. It really isn't with Goff. He doesn't seem like the type of quarterback who will excel as far as like getting the ball out of his hand quickly, being able to move around and extend a play if needed against a really tough San Francisco defense. I just think San Francisco is going to be trying to bounce back. Now, they are banged up, and they've been dealing with a lot of injuries, and this is a division game between two teams that know each other well, and the Rams need to win their last 2 games and hope that Minnesota loses their last 2 games if the Rams want any of their small chance to get into the playoff. So I do think the Rams will play better, because why did they come out so flat last week? It made a lot of sense why the 49ers came out flat. They played a couple huge games in a row on the road. They played that awesome game against the Saints, and then the 49ers come home. You knew that they had an opportunity to come out a little bit flat with the Shanahan-ish relationship with Atlanta. So that made sense to me, but why were the Rams so bad after a couple weeks where they looked really good? It seemed like they started to figure things out, and then Dallas just kicked the crap out of them. The Rams are actually 9-5 against the spread this year, and they are 5-0 in their last 5 following an against the spread loss. It's just a no play for me. I don't like the matchup for the Rams. I wouldn't be shocked if it's close. I think the 49ers will win, so I'll stay away from this one. So for the Saturday games, let's go with Houston -3. Don't get anything more than that though, and then Buffalo plus the 6.5 there. We are 49-42 after a very nice week last week where we went 4-2 in our games, and we also had a couple of those games in the money line. Good way to try to end the season, 1 or 2 more winning weeks here, and now we're at least back up into a nice number, and we put a little more money back in our pocket last week after a few weeks where we just kind of struggled a little bit. Really, betting the NFL is the hardest thing in the world, man. The lines are the most accurate, really, of all the sports, because there's a lot of sharp money, and there's just a ton of money in general. So most of the time when you have a great start, it's going to go closely back to even, and a lot of times when you have a bad start, it'll start to go good back to even. So let's try to finish the last few weeks strong here in the NFL. Speaking of the NFL, you can play in a lot of these DFS contests with the DFS contest with the Thrive Fantasy app. Go right now, download the Thrive Fantasy app. Use the promo code Gino. If you deposit $10, you'll get a $10 bonus. So if you deposit $10 or anything over $10, you'll get a $10 bonus credit right back into your account. And I actually get a little chunk of that change, so it'll be helping me out. And you can play against me in a lot of these contests. Look for me. That's what G said is the name for my username in there. And this is DFS for prop bets. What you do is you pick a lineup based around different prop bets that have a number value attached to them. It'll say something like Tom Brady will pass for over or under 250 yards, over 100 points, under 80 points, something like that. So you pick your lineup. You have 2 in case of emergency picks, in case something happens or one of your players gets scratched or doesn't get in. and I played in a lot of these contests. I've won some money in a few. I always like to, with a new app like this or a new site, I always like to check it out, play a few games, and try to see if I can win and withdraw, because that's always the worry, right? If we win a little money, can we withdraw? This was great. Pulled it right into my PayPal account. It was very quick. Make sure to use that promo code. Deposit $10, promo code GINO. It's a lot of fun. And let me know if you get in there, and we'll play in a contest against each other, and we'll have a little side action going on. College football bowl season begins on Friday, December the 20th, with the Bahamas Bowl. Buffalo is a 6.5-point favorite over Charlotte. We have a couple games on Friday, a stack slate on Saturday. We have a game on Monday, game on Tuesday to talk about, and then by that point we'll probably have recorded a show next week, and we'll talk about the next slate of the college football games. So in the Frisco Bowl, we'll have 3 plays in these games. The first one will be in the Frisco Bowl, where we'll play Utah State. They're minus 6.5 against Kent State, and looks like Jordan Love's going to play. I think it'll be a nice spot for him to show off a little bit. They're going to be playing against the Kent State team, who was 2-10 last year. I think they're just going to be happy to be here. Utah State is 16-5 against the spread as a favorite, and 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 non-conference games. I like Utah State in here, minus the 6.5. You'll have on Saturday in the New Mexico Bowl, you'll have San Diego State. They're a 3.5-point favorite against Central Michigan, who they were 1-11 last year. They did a great job turning their program around and getting into a bowl this year. They have the Cure Bowl, where Georgia Southern is a 4-point favorite over Liberty. There's the Boca Raton Bowl, where SMU is a 3-point favorite over Florida Atlantic. The Camellia Bowl, where Arkansas State is a 2.5-point favorite over Florida International. And then the Las Vegas Bowl will be one of our plays. It's going to be Washington as a 3-point favorite against Boise State. You can find Boise State at plus 3.5, and I like Boise State, so let's look for that 3.5 and try to take that side. I wouldn't talk you off playing a money line in here. This is Chris Peterson's last game at Washington. Remember, he was the former coach at Boise State, so there'll be a little fun added narrative and storyline into this matchup. And Washington had a really disappointing year, and Boise State always plays well at the end of the year. They always play well in these bowl games. They're always excited to be playing against a big conference team, and with the opportunity to upset them. Boise State is 7-0 in their against the spread in their last 7 as an underdog. They have won their last 6 games. This is their 18th straight bowl game. They are 5-1 in their last 6 bowl games as a dog against the spread. And Washington is 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 bowl games. I don't know what Washington's playing for really here. If their coach is leaving, do they want to send him out on a good note? Sure. But, I mean, are they excited that their coach is leaving? I don't know. I thought Eason's been okay this year. Haven't been quite as impressed as I had hoped in some of the big games. Let's go Boise State in here, plus the 3.5. And then the third play will be on Tuesday. We'll get there in a second. So on Saturday, the other game, New Orleans Bowl, Appalachian State is a 17-point favorite over UAB. Monday is the Gasparilla Bowl, UCF 17.5-point favorite over Marshall. And then Tuesday is the Hawaii Bowl. And we'll play BYU. They are minus 1.5, minus 2 against Hawaii. That's fine. Don't take anything above 3. Look for the 1.5 because we like BYU in here. Hawaii, plain and simple, they're good against bad teams, and I don't think BYU is a bad team. Hawaii is 7-18-1 as an underdog recently. They are 7-19 against teams with a winning record. They are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 bowl games. They're 7-21-1 against the spread at home in their last, 29 games. And they have struggled down the stretch. They haven't been scoring at the same rate. They haven't been just racking up the same yardage as they have early in the year as that you generally think with the Hawaii team. So let's go BYU in here. Hawaii just doesn't have the same kind of home field advantage that they used to either. BYU, just to me, seems like the better team, and we'll go BYU minus the 1.5 in here. So the 3 plays in the first swing of these bowl games: Utah State minus 6.5, Boise State plus 3.5, BYU minus 1.5. We are dead even. We were 500 with our college picks this year, 23-23 with a large slate still left with this bowl slate coming up over the next few weeks. So plenty of opportunities to move that number up quite a bit and to make some money. Good luck in the first week or so of the college football bowl games. Before we close things out with the horse racing plays for Friday, December 20th, and remind you about Sarah Candle Company. Visit sarahcandles.com right now. Christmas time coming up. You need a last-minute gift. You don't want to have to go to the mall. Order from sarahcandles.com. Their goal was to create a candle that is 100% natural, clean burning, and of the highest quality that everyone can enjoy. Here's why Sarah candles are the best. And this is CERA candles.com. Sarah, CERA meaning wax in Italian. They're all-natural soy wax. They're free from the toxins found in the paraffin wax, which is used by... And the all-natural soy wax actually holds a scent better and can burn up to 50% longer than the traditional paraffin wax candle. 100% lead-free cotton wicks, completely natural scents. They're made in micro batches and hand-poured to ensure the highest quality. 100% locally sourced and handcrafted in the USA. They have over 25 different scents available, 3 different sizes, fragrance oils that are infused with natural essential oils, best ingredients, quality packaging, affordable prices, and longer burning. And none of those toxins or those carcinogens or those pollutants that are present in the paraffin wax. These were created by people who love candles. They started out experimenting, trying to create the perfect candle, and now they have blossomed into Sarah Candle Company. Through their research, they were able to discover the benefits of the all-natural soy wax. Perfect gift for someone. We're offering you 10% off with the promo code GINO. So make sure to use that promo code GINO, 10% off of your purchase. I just loaded up for a lot of Christmas gifts. You can get different scents for each one of your family members, each one of your friends to match their personalities, right? Sarah Candle Company. Visit sarahcandles.com. Final segment. Let's get through this as quickly as we can because we just have a couple plays from Fairgrounds, a couple plays from Turfway, a couple plays from Gulfstream. Looked at Laurel, looked at Aqueduct. It was awful. Ugh, couldn't find anything there at Aqueduct. Looked at Laurel, didn't really love anything there. So let's go through Fairgrounds first with our 3 plays. Let's go to Fairgrounds. So this is December 20th at Fairgrounds. Make sure to get your past performances out or your pen and your paper. And let's go to race number 4. And we're going to go to the number 7. And that is Kenzie Blake. Last time we saw Kenzie Blake, she was a step slow. She got squeezed out of the spot she wanted, and she got stuck 7th down on the inside. She was waiting behind horses. She was keeping inside. She actually moved really well. She got a spot between horses. She moved through a tight spot, and she couldn't get to the long shot, LaFleur, who went gate to wire that day, who was a $96 winner. She has more positional speed than she showed last time out. I think she can be a little bit closer. She's going to go second start off the bench. She had a couple months off between September and November. I think she'll be a little sharper today, and she's shown the ability to sit closer if need be, but she can come from off the pace, and I like that last effort. So let's make a win wager on the number 7, Kenzie Blake, if we can get 3-1, and let's use Kenzie Blake in all of your exotics there in race number 4 at Fairgrounds. Let's jump to race number 6 at Fairgrounds on Friday. And let's go to the number 1, Sidster from the rail. Sidster's debut, he actually was your betting favorite, but he broke a step slow. He got hooked wide, and he was up to within a length. He was pressing 4 deep. It was just a tough trip, but he did flash some ability. He ran in spots. He got a lot of action in that debut. That was sprinting on the dirt. Now, he adds the blinkers. He's going to stretch out. He's going to go to the grass, and he should be right on the lead from the inside. I think you're going to get some speed in here, and I think you're going to see just a different horse today with a different trip, and that's the number 1, Sidster, in race number 6 at Fairgrounds. We're going to make a win wager on that one if we can get anything over 7-2. And let's jump to race number 8 for our final play of the day at Fairgrounds, and we're going to go to the number 10 in here, Amazima. This is a filly who is fresh for new connections. If you go through race by race, she's really never run a bad race in her career, which began with the debut. And I like the fact that she has some speed. She has the ability to sit just off, and she should be close. She's really always in the mix. She broke well. She was a close-up third. She was tucked inside. She was within 2. She made an early move to the 2-path, and she angled around, but she just seemed all in early. And that was the toughest race that any of these are coming out of. If you look at the races that a lot of these are coming out of, they're stepping up from a maiden win. They're coming out of claiming races or state bred races, and that was an open allowance. And look at the race back in September at Churchill, which was really, really good, sitting just taking the lead and then getting nailed late. And also, you're going to be going a mile and a 16th in here after cutting back from a couple races, going a mile and an 8th, and then a mile and 3/16, where it seemed like she was just a little bit flat. So I liked the turn back. You'll notice the victory was at a mile. We're going to go with the number 10, Amazima. We'll make a win wager if we can get anything around 7-2. So the 3 plays there at Fairgrounds. 4th race, the number 7, Kenzie Blake. The 6th race, the number 1, Sidster. And the 8th race, the number 10, Amazima. Let's go to Gulfstream Park. We have 3 plays at Gulfstream Park for Friday. The first one's going to come 3, and it's going to be with the 6, Day by Day, who she's a mare who's coming over from Golden Gate. She was in Southern California a couple starts back at Del Mar. She was your heavy favorite last time out, your 1-2 favorite. She broke well. She pressed the pace, but she was in the inside. And that's not an easy spot when you're pressing from down on the inside and the leader is kind of in front of you and able to kind of angle you into the rail a little bit. You could see that she didn't seem to like being down on the inside, so she took back. She wanted to get off the rail, but she really couldn't. She just never seemed comfortable, and that was against Open Company last time out. Now she's in against Florida Breds. She goes from the inside to the outside, and she's shown the ability to sit just off the pace if need be. She can press. She doesn't have to be right on the lead. Let's go with the number 6, Day by Day. We'll make a win wager at anything around 5-2, and make sure to use in all of your exotics there at Gulfstream Park. Let's go to race number 7 at Gulfstream Park, and we're going to go to the number 4 in here, Gorgeous in Rags. Her last start, she was not far off at Churchill Downs early. She was two back. She was in between horses. She was traveling well, but she kind of moved right up onto the heels of the rival in front of her. She had nowhere to go, so then she had to take back and angle around. She was 3 deep at the top of the lane. She loomed up ominously. She ended up winning the battle for second, and now she gets the slight cutback. And she's pretty consistent over her last couple starts. I like this trip for her. Gorgeous in Rags, the number 4, in race number 7. We'll make a win wager, anything around 7-2. And then in race number 9, you're not going to get a big price on this one. Maybe you want to build some of your late exotics around. That's the number 7, Churn and Burn, who, if you can get around 2-1, I think that's a good price, because I was just extremely impressed with both of his starts, really, but in particular with the November 15th race at Churchill. He had a slow start. He moved well in between horses. He was all the way up to 3rd within just a length. He then takes back a little bit. He's sitting nicely a couple lengths off. He looked like he was done early in the stretch. And I think it's more of a distance horse, because he did not really even get into his stride until late, and then he started to really travel well, and he gets up for the win. He looks just like a horse who wants to go longer, like a distance horse. He shouldn't have to be too far out of it. He's proven that he can come from behind and pass horses if need be, like he showed in his debut. And he defeated a next out maiden special weight winner at Turfway Park. So let's go to the number 7, Churn and Burn. Anything around 2-1 will play, and maybe a horse just to build some of your late exotics there at Gulfstream. Let's close things out with our plays from Turfway Park for Friday. 3 plays for Turfway, going to be in races 5, 6, and 7. Let's go to race number 5, the number 1, Big Time Delivery. I think this horse should be favored in here, and she will probably be 5-2 or so. So maybe she's a horse to single in some of your exotics, or around 5-2. I'm fine with making a win wager. She was a step slow. She angled off the inside, but she kind of ran into some traffic, and she ended up 3rd. She was tucked inside. She was a couple lengths off, and then she got shuffled back a little bit. She moved through. She was kind of spinning her wheels down on the rail, wasn't really going anywhere, and then she angled off the rail to the 2-path, and she really kicked into gear late. I think Big Time Delivery is in a good spot here to save ground from the inside. Big Time Delivery should sit a good trip. The number 1 in race number 5 at Turfway Park, using all your exotics, and let's make a win wager if we can get 5-2. Let's go to race number 6. The number 8 is a horse I remember from Southern California quite a bit, and that is Lombo. Lombo's a grade 3 winner who, I mean, he's just coming out of a lot better races than most of these are, right? You see Pee Wee Reese, Eddie Haskell, and Stormy Liverpool on the grass 2 starts back. He flashed speed going a mile at Churchill last time out in a tougher race. He's in the stakes, the Brewbreaker, behind, some fine older horses and leading scorer and line judge and 235. And prior to that, you see American Anthem and Flagstaff. So we're talking about just, I think, a lot better than what most of these have been facing late. Lombo looks to me like he has the speed, but he can sit just off. He's drawn to the outside, which is key, so his hand's not going to be forced. He can just kind of, use a little bit of his speed to get into a nice position. Let's go with Lombo, the number 8. Anything around 3-1, we will make a win wager and use Lombo in all of your exotics there at Turfway in the 6th. Turfway Park race number 7. Going to go to the 3. Get your midnight. Get your mind right. I just think he outruns him. He's going to go 3rd off the bench. He's proven at Turfway Park, and he looks like he's just faster than everybody else in here. He won 2 starts back at Keeneland, and then last time out was speed, just faded a little bit. A lot of times this happens to these speed horses, but I mean, you look up and down at this field, there are, maybe 1 or 2 others who have some speed, but I think he's the quickest. And let's go with the number 3. Get your mind right. Anything around 7-2 will make a win wager in race 7 at Turfway Park. So that's going to do it for this episode of That's What G Said, but we will be back probably Friday evening as we go through the Sunday NFL games. We will go through the morning show. We'll talk a little bit about Shameless last couple episodes, and we'll hit on the horse racing for Saturday and Sunday for the weekend. Enjoy, folks, and happy holidays to everyone out there. We are coming close on to Christmas. Don't forget to vote in the polls for the best Christmas movie. You have to head on over to Twitter, follow It's Me, Gino B, and vote in those polls for best Christmas movies. Talk to you all again very, very soon.